Hi everybody. We're going to start talking about some very specific subjects here at the Edge Pro with clipper blades. I really appreciate that you're coming into the class and that we're going to be able to talk through this. One of the first subject matters that I want to cover with you today is the blade socket. The things that happen on the clipper blade that are damage oriented and then cause us fits when we're trying to put a blade back together. This also works for those of you out there that are using the tools. You may notice this and be able to fix it on your own if there's not that sharpener technician that's there able to help you. So we're going to look at that, and the socket is the piece on the blade that's right in here. Get my little pointer maybe. That mounts the blade to the clipper itself. And I'm going to grab one that's already taken out of a clipper. So we can actually see too many things around here. But we're going to see how that actually interacts with the clipper. The clipper blade in general, and these are detachable style blades, they slide on to the clipper right over this tongue on the hinge. And so as we come on, here's the socket. There's a little space between it and the comb right in here. That little slot, and that's where then the clipper blade will slip onto the tongue and then hinges down. Now it's kind of hard to see all that right now, so we're going to take the blade out of the way. And I'm just going to lay the socket over the top of the base of the hinge. Hopefully it'll cooperate with us, and snap it down. So what you can see here is there's two little wings of the socket, and they wrap around the base of the hinge. That's what's keeping the blade stable. So when we're running it, it's not rattling back and forth. Everybody that's used one of these types of tools, you've had a blade that made a rattling sound, and that's because these little wings get spread out. It could also be that the hinge is damaged, but really right now we're going to focus on that we have good clipper parts, and it's just the blade that we're struggling with. You also see the wings that stick out here. That's going to position the rest of the blade over the top of the hinge. And so that's where your threads are that hold the blade together. And so we can kind of see how, if we look in here, we can see how that spring assembly wraps around. Then that's this wing that has the threads in it, and then our screw that holds it all together. So that's kind of our components and how they marry into the blade. Now if I go to raise this back up, I'm going to have to do a couple things. And well, actually let's look at that. This one actually is for the pet grooming side of the world and has a spring-loaded clip. And if you see, this clip is actually hooking over the top of the socket, and that's what keeps the blade engaged and really locked onto the clipper itself. So I'm going to push that forward right now. I'm going to have to come in here with a screwdriver and pry things up to get that to come back off. That releases us, and our socket or our blade would come up and out of the tool. So there's several things that can happen in the use of a clipper that will make the blade not work well just based on the socket itself. These are the two little wings we were talking about before, and if you notice with this one, if we can get angles, and I can't really see, but if I bring this up, these two are spread out, and that is going to give us that rattling condition. If we can compare here, these two on this particular socket are more straight up and down and parallel. If this is a good angle to see that, but they're straight up compared to the base of the socket. And so that's always going to be an important piece that we have to manage. If we drop the blade, or even if we got into a really heavy mat and on a generic type tool out there, some of them have a weaker strength to those wings, and we want to be able to bring those back to where they're supposed to be. Now we could simply use a pair of pliers. We'll just jet to the outer setting of the plier, and we can grip these on the corner and then start squeezing to bring those back to parallel. We also could use a pair of channel locks where we have a little more adjustment, and maybe a little more leverage with a nice big tool like this. Then there's also some tools on the market that have been modified to make them work well for this application. Now in this case, the two wings are gonna, of this jaw, will fit over the wings on the socket, and then there's an adjustment screw so you can make it actually stop right at the dimension you want it to be when we're done. So if I grab a hold of this and then squeeze in, we'll start to move those closer to where they were originally at. Now when we go to put that on the clipper, everything's nice and stable and strong. It's going to go exactly where it's supposed to, and we won't get that extra rattling noise. So if I pull this back out again, we'll look at what that sounds like and looks like when it's actually damaged. So I go to put this on, and notice I turn the clipper on to turn it on, snap it down. Oh, notice how much louder that is. And what we're going to see is that when I grab this, I can rock it back and forth freely with my hand. That's the damaged part of the condition, what it looks like. If I hinge that back off, we take our plier again, we squeeze those back in using the gauge, put it back on our clipper, it no longer rocks. Now this one is still rocking a little bit. Notice that? That time it's closer but wasn't quite there. So I would need to readjust that tool, or I could grab my other pliers, bring those in just a tiny bit more. They were getting a little spring action out of it. Now we're solid. We can't move the comb at all. And we've really controlled that situation back to where it's supposed to be. Well, let's say we set our pliers wrong, or we had too much strength today, and when we come in here and grab it, we go just a little too far. Now what's going to happen? When we go to hinge this down, oh, I didn't go far enough. It's still fitting. So that's good. Let's go a little bit further. It'll slip off there for us. I just want to go just a little bit too far. There. Now when I hinge down, notice the blade doesn't actually engage and it won't go all the way on the clipper. So that's a problem, right? Fairly easy to solve. One, all I have to do really is mash it down once. What'll happen is that these two little wings were too close and they landed on top of the hinge. So when I pushed down, they came over and they matched the size and dimension of our base of our hinge. Now it's latched on. I take it back off. It easily goes on each time. So that's just two little pieces of that socket. And again, that's the two wings. Another condition that we can create with that is, let's say, especially in a drop, the wing gets bent and it's twisted. Well, if we just bring it up straight, that's still going to have some inadequate contact to our base of our hinge, and it'll be more easy to have that get re-damaged. So I'm just going to come in. Not only am I going to bring it up, but I'm also going to twist this around until we're nice and straight, one wing to the other, or going to make it so that they are parallel to each other, and that'll solve that issue. I would want to come in with my sizer, double check that we have good dimensions there. All right, and if we did our job right, now we're nice and solid, everything's back on working correctly. So that is our second condition to look at, and that's still involving the wings. There's another area of the socket that we want to look at, and that is this platform area. Now remember the two little wings that have the threads? Those can get twisted right down here where they join the main part. One of the most common issues looks like this one, where the front is very tipped forward. We're almost to the point where the wing is touching the cutter down inside, and this is tipped forward. What do you think could happen there? Well, one of the problems that we have is that we only have so much dimension within our hinge. So there's tolerances that we have to work in. If we're working in this tolerance and we bring this down, we'll see if this one will do it for us. We turn the clipper on and we go to hinge it down. One, this is rattling. Two, it didn't hook. Wings that's tipped further down, the little hook inside here couldn't reach and grab a hold of the spot that it needs to. So that's something that we can easily solve. I'm going to take my screwdriver in the front of the socket, kind of between it and the cutter. I'm also going to pinch down with my thumb over the back. If you don't feel like your thumb is going to be strong enough, we'll do that with a pair of pliers. What we're going to do is we're going to make the whole socket pivot on these little wings right here. That way these little wings will allow us to come back to level. So I'm going to twist my screwdriver while pinching with my pliers. And I'm not pinching super hard, I'm just going to slowly move it and bring it back around to where now everything is level with the surface of our comb. So we just kind of have an even slot underneath there. We have a tool, comes with our machines right here. It's called a deluxe socket setter. This piece on the end represents the tongue on the hinge. So now I can slide this in and make sure everything fits well and that I'm not really loose, it's nice and snug. And that's telling us that we have it correct. Also, I can just put it onto the clipper. So I can slide it on, it went on nice and easy. This time, when I come back up on there, it now latches on that hook. So we took that dimension and we made it so that it would go ahead and latch. When I go to take it off, I always have to push the button back here to release it. Otherwise, people will break that hook. And that's in another bit of our content when it comes to repair service. But all we're trying to do again is bring this back to where it's level to the comb or parallel to the comb. And that solves that part of the issue. Same idea, same part of the socket can also get tipped upward. Now, I haven't totally figured out what somebody does to make this happen, but we get them in all the time where that is the condition that we find. Again, I'm going to, sorry, go a little off camera there for a second, grab my pliers, but I'm going to pull this back in, tip it from the front until I come back down level. Hardly ever do I have to lift in the back when it's that condition. I'm just trying to get it to come back to level. Now, a lot of you may say, wow, why don't you just, all these bends and problems, why don't you just change the part? Put a new one in there. I would, in a lot of cases, replace it. Because as you can imagine, metal fatigue, anytime we bend a piece of metal, it gets weaker. And so it's not a bad idea to change these parts when they're severe. But in a lot of cases, it's just a minor movement and then we've solved the problem and it didn't cost us or the customer more money. Another thing is we have little things like, I don't know, a worldwide pandemic. And when those things happen, supply chains broke. And you've all experienced this at a different level. And in our case, we couldn't get these parts from the factory. So we could either fix the part or we were out of business. That doesn't sound like a good plan. I want to be able to keep working. And it may be even my fault. Maybe I just forgot to order extras and I used a bunch yesterday and today I don't have any. I want to stay working. So that's why we want to pay attention to these concepts. Another thing that we can look for on these sockets, and this is just kind of a side note, is that deep down in here, some of the brands of these will get an actual crimp when they manufacture this. As that wing gets tipped out and brought back in, they will crack right here. And again, that's metal fatigue, but if that cracks, it'll no longer stay in and not rattle on you. If it's cracked, I would definitely replace the part. So a common thing that we see. Again, this one, we brought this back to parallel so that it'll slide back on the clipper correctly and we're ready to use it again. Okay, one more on this. And this one is another type of damage. And again, this gets into drops and forcing things. But notice that this part down here, instead of being straight, has a nice big tall bow to it. And what that'll do is when we go to put it on here, it gives a lot of extra play and slop with how it fits onto that tongue of the clipper. And so again, easy thing to kind of work on. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm just going to squeeze back down. Once I have it pretty straight, we'll see, make sure that it still fits onto our tool. So here's our socket setter. A lot less play than what we had just a second ago. We'll see how that looks on the clipper. And we have much less play in it. Still has a little bit so it's free to go on and off. Oh, that one has a bent wing too, doesn't it? So we would go ahead and fix that as well. Always try to go to my easiest tool to do that. Oh yeah, those bent in. I noticed, and that's why I brought up that crack. Those folded so easy, I wouldn't want to leave this. I solved it temporarily, but look at this. Just me gripping it, I can start bringing back. See how there's motion now? So just after going into a few mats on a dog, or again, tapping it on the back bore in the barber station, something to that effect, we would have a rattle again. So this would be a great opportunity to say, wow, let's change that part. So again, that's due to a weakness, and I could feel it when I gripped it, but right down here in this crease that they folded really super easy. I can take just a regular pair of pliers, and I'll show you how weak they are. I'm just going to grip it a little bit and fold it over. That is so wimpy. Better to change the part than have you sharpen a blade and then, you know, an hour later they're calling you complaining that it's rattling again. That is most of the different areas that we would look at with a blade socket. Hope that was informative and helpful to you. Going to be critical whether, again, you're the end user playing with this or you're the sharpener that's out trying to help them. Appreciate your attention and that you came to our class. If you liked what you saw, please follow or like, depending on which medium we're on, and subscribe to our station. Enjoyed having you. You guys have a great day.